What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review Season 3, Episode 8 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. And the episode is titled Reckonings. But before I get into this review, you know what I have to do. I have to give a shout out to my lovely subscribers. Shout outs to Lamont Simpson, Old Boogie Baby, Tayon's World, the R.C. Kroger, Beautifully T, and June BLC, and Buy Houses. Thank you all for watching this show with me and commenting on the show. Listen, y'all, keep the comments coming. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep this channel doing what? Going and growing. Let's get my Raising Kanan reviews into the algorithm so that we can get everybody talking and discussing this with us. Right? Let's keep the channel going and growing. All right, with that said, let's get down to business. Let's get into this episode. Let's start with Lulu, who is having major issues. Life is just, this stuff is too much for him. He's drunk. You know, he has all this lifestyle is caught up to him. He's got this guilt going on with him because now we saw last week and the week before that him going to Scrap's mother crying and telling her what happened, then going to have to clean that up by killing her. So now there's even more guilt on him. But what does he do? He shows up at Rock's house drunk, making a scene outside in the good neighborhood. But listen, I don't care if it was a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood. You do not come to my house and make a scene. I hate stuff like that. So I was totally on Rock's side while he outside like, oh my God, we're killers and we just drunk and just making a scene. I don't like that. And Rock didn't like that either. And I totally understood that because I'm like, you just don't do that. You just don't do that. But I get it because he's in pain and he's going through so much. But Rock was pissed off. So pissed off, in fact, she had to get their mother, to come watch him. And she had to pay the mother. The mother's a little trifling, too. She had to pay her to watch him. She said, keep him here. We got to do something with him. What do y'all think? Y'all think he's going to end up being killed this season? I don't know, because he's just really been going downhill. Anyway, he manages to get away from the mother, which the mother ain't do her job, clearly. Goes down to the nightclub, tells the woman that he's going to take a little break, he's going to disappear, whatever. And then we see him outside, drunk, staggering around in the alley, almost getting robbed. And luckily he had his gun on him, and he pulled the gun out and shot at those people, was shooting all over the place, then fell to the ground because he's so drunk, fell to the ground with the gun. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And it's like, you know, but it's what he's going through because, you know, he wants to make his music and he's just not in a good place. Who else is also not in a good place? I would say is Famous. And Famous comes to the club looking for Lulu. And Famous, you know, him and Kanan are not on good terms right now. And he's dealing with the guilt that's eating him up and putting it into song. And he goes to the club and the lady tells him that Lulu's not there. And they make a deal because he wants to finish making songs. She said, well, what you can do is you can help me around here. And in that way you could do the studio time. So they're going to make that deal. So that's good because Famous, you know, I'm feeling bad for him too. And he's kind of feeling a little ridiculous. But it's like another one. He wants to make his music and there's other things in life that are getting in his way. Speaking of music, let's move on down to Jukebox and her group Butter. They seem to be doing well, and they had some decisions to be made, and based on something that Jukebox said, the manager said, you know what, or whoever that lady is, the record exec, whoever, she said, you know, you're our leader. That didn't sit well with Crystal, and Crystal is pissed off. Crystal's a little spiteful, shady little girl, and I was predicting, I said, you know what, this is how I think Jukebox is going to get out of this group. She's going to end up hurting Crystal. That's what I thought. I was like, she's going to end up hurting Crystal because Crystal is spiteful and evil, thinks she should lead everything, should be the leader, and that's not the case. Aisha's as sweet as peach and just cool and everything. So we see that Crystal is now taken up with Kanan. And that was messed up, and you saw that when Jukebox saw that, Jukebox was ready to go over there like, yo, you know, and then Aisha said, no, it's not worth it. I still have friends like you. But then to make things more grimy, why did Crystal get Jukebox attacked. Now this is trifling. You're sleeping with my cousin, and you're gonna try to get your friends to jump me. You think that would sit well with Kanan? You think Kanan knows about that? I don't think he knows about that. He wouldn't allow. Although him and Jukebox are not on the best terms right now, I don't think he would go for that or be okay with that. But she's just trifling. But listen, that scene with Jukebox and those girls, Jukebox handled those girls like a G. And I love the scene when she came in, because I guess Crystal thought she was not going to make it. She came into that thing. She said, I had delays on the train. She had a little bit of scars on her. She said, the manager asked, she said, what happened to your face? Jukebox was like, I fell. Then she looked over to Crystal. She said, you little punk friends, like letting her know, that ain't stopping me. And she fell right into place doing what she do. I said, go ahead, Jukebox. But we also saw in this episode, Jukebox talking to the military. And that may be what brings her out of this group, because she did sign up and they were telling her it's hard to get out of that. So that may be where she's headed. So that was really good. I like her storyline. All of that was very, very good, very interesting. Let's talk about Kanan himself. Kanan, he over there with Ronnie and all of this stuff. And the social worker comes to his home and comes to the apartment where he's at. She says, your mother tells me you're over here and you shouldn't be over here. And she's like, you know what? You better be back at your mother's house, or I'll have the police coming over here to deal with you. But what does he do? He goes and gets Ronnie, and Ronnie kind of threatens her. And I was like, well, Dad, Ronnie's this menacing. He threatening social services. Ronnie got to go. I'm sick of Ronnie, too. Ronnie definitely has to go. Meanwhile, Rock has to get this business up and running, and Quan finds out that there's some competition, and we got to get this competition stopped. And they find out that the competition is her own son. It's because Kanan is working with Ronnie, and he's working with Snaps and Pops, who are the distributors or whatever. So Quan is not happy about that. Quan's like, you got to take out the enemy, this, that, the third. We also see in this episode, while Rock is trying to build her business and get things going, she's speaking with the guy, the Asian guy, and he doesn't want to do the deal. And that scene between him and his brother was entertaining. He's like, oh, no, I want this amount of money. But then they blackmail him by getting pictures of him, taking photos of him. She had Marvin take photos of him while he's out there, carrying on with the prostitute. So that was entertaining. That was interesting. So it's like, we also see, Rock has to make sense of all of this. She's like, what's going on here? I have to make sense. She has to make some sense of this. And while that's happening, we pan to Marvin now dealing with Gerald, his friend, so we thought was his friend, and who he's helped. And we saw Gerald all messed up with his daughters, and Gerald is interviewing him, and Gerald's asking a little too many questions. And then we find out that's because Gerald is a snitch, a rat. Gerald is working with the feds. He's working with the feds to try to take down Marvin. And I do know Marvin, when they had that conversation in the diner, Marvin could tell, like, you asking too many questions, bro. But I don't think Marvin knows he's a snitch just yet. And that's not going to end well for Gerald. It really isn't. And I'm wondering, will Detective Howard let Rock know what's going on? Because, he's going to find out about that situation, about the connection between them looking at Marvin and this whole thing with Gerald. That's going to be interesting. Now, that's really, I think it's going to be very interesting to see. So, I mean, that's that. What's going to happen with that? It's going to be good. I like this show. I like what they're doing. It's been a slow burn, but it's really been, so much has still been happening this season. So I'm really enjoying this season so far. Speaking of Detective Howard, though, it looks like Detective Burke's father is going to be looking into Detective Howard, because he had a conversation in this whole thing about, defending his daughter's name. And he said, well, there was another detective that told me I should look into that situation between your daughter and the young lady that died. And he was like, who was that? And he finds out, he said, he told me not to say, I can't say, but it was a man. He said, Detective Howard. So he's going to piece that together. But I'm like, Burke, don't get hurt like your daughter did, because Howard is right now in a desperate time, and desperate times call. Listen, he going to try to cover his tracks the best way he can. So all of that was interesting. Then we have Rock going over to Snaps and Pop. I just love their names, Snaps and Pop. And she's confronted them, and that scene was great. That scene was great when, she came and they're like, oh, look at you. You're looking good and you're looking all cute. And then how the tables turned when she mentioned, y'all dealing with my son. Stay the F away from my son. And they like, we don't know what you talking about. This, that, and the third. And it went from that to them telling her, we don't know who you think you talking to. And then the Snaps was like, and you coming here with she was totally hating. We run this. When she started hating, you saw she was profiling, checking out Rock, because Rock was looking good. Rock was looking real good. She said, you come in here in your little outfit and your Indian hair, your good Indian hair. Why you hating? Why you hating like that? I thought that scene was excellent, though, that scene between them. And Rock was like, y'all talking about how y'all invented this and y'all made this and y'all know what moves. And Rock said, y'all don't know who's behind me. And she said, and then he said, the Italians, we know everything. And I like her line, because when they were saying we invented this, she said, you're always talking about who started stuff, but it's not about who started. It's about who stays around, who's still around, and who's there to turn the lights out and close the door. I said, oh, I like that. But that didn't sit well with Snaps and Pop. They like, oh no, I don't know who she thinks she talking to. And like the woman said, she said, you think this is worth dealing with it? But Pops is like, listen, she don't come over here and tell us what to do. Oh, hell no, we not dealing with that. You don't do that over here. We ain't taking that. Then we have Rock going to Vanessa. I've been saying her name wrong. I done called her Vanessa, Lanessa, but it's Vanessa, I believe. Going to her and trying to ask her things on Ronnie. And I don't blame her for saying, listen to Rock, I don't want no parts of none of this. That dude crazy. I'm trying to stay alive. I'm trying to stay safe. But she did give her a tip. She said, he has been messing with that Spanish lady from the bodega, talking about Juliana. So this causes Rock to then go over to Juliana's cousin and tell him, like, your cousin might be doing some business behind your back. And he's like, ever since her husband died, she changed. She said, no, she's being who she really is. So we have the scene that I enjoyed, and that was the scene of Rock confronting Juliana. She goes over to Juliana's house, and Juliana's trying to get all arrogant and stuff. And she said, you can't touch me, my cousin. She said, I already went to your cousin. And then she said, I have money. Rock shot her right in her leg when she tried to walk. Shot her in the leg. She was down at her couch. Rock told her, I'm always a step ahead and I'm always smarter. And so you done messed up. And Rock ends up killing her. And that's where the episode ends. It was a good episode. I believe we only have 2 episodes left, right? This was episode 8. So we only have 2 episodes left of the season. And I can't wait to see how all of this is going to turn out. I really enjoyed this episode. Tell me your thoughts. What did you think about this episode? Who are you sick and tired of? There's a lot of people I'm getting annoyed with. I'm annoyed with Ronnie. I'm annoyed with Crystal. And I'm annoyed with Kanan, too. Like, they're just, So, really good episode. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen next? Who you think is going to be killed off next? That's the thing. That's it. So, that's all I have for now. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video.